Hi, I'm Josh with MediaLeaders.com. On this digital growth broadcast, we're going to hear from the world's biggest brands on how to get press and, more importantly, how to get exposure from businesses of all sizes. I'm really excited to have people from all over the world literally on this broadcast. We have Triplt from San Francisco, Intuit, the makers of QuickBooks, are live from London. We've got Business Wire here in Los Angeles. And we've got Sage in Dallas. This is going to be so great. You know, we're going to start with Sage actually in Dallas. We have Aimee on the call right now. Aimee, welcome to the video.
Hi, thank you. I'm glad to be here.
Aimee, walk us through a couple PR tips that you have that businesses of all shapes and sizes can use to get exposure.
Sure. So the best thing about it is that it really does not matter your size or your industry on getting PR or getting exposure. The thing that I found, the best advice I can give is that as a company, no matter your size or your company industry, understand what makes you unique. Really think about why you got into business in the first place. Think about what you do better than other people. Think about your employees. What do they do differently? It's not limited to just how you run your business. It can also be people internally, or maybe you have the #1 expert on airplane parts and you make airplane parts, so you can tap into that expertise. But the most important thing is to find out what makes you unique, tap into that expertise, and then be prepared to share that externally. Share that with the world. The other thing that is really a good way to get that media coverage is to think about what your opinions are. And if there's an issue in your industry, or there's an issue in your community, or even a national issue that impacts your business or the businesses around you, if you're prepared to share your opinion on that, that can tie you into national trends and help you to get coverage. And then the last thing I would say is that just be authentic, understand who you are, and own it, and tell that story, because that's what people really, really want to hear. One of the things I do at Sage is work with a number of small and medium-sized businesses, and my favorite way to get PR is to tell those stories, because they're so much more compelling and impactful, and just really exciting. So you are the best expert available. Truly.
I love that. That's really great. Hey, we have Lauren Moreno on the video as well. She's from San Francisco from Triplt. Lauren, welcome to the video.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Hey, Lauren, walk us through some of your PR tips.
Yep, exactly. So first I would say everything that Aimee said earlier is 110% dead on. Completely agree with what she said. All of those things are very important when you're beginning out and trying to get PR for your company. I would add to that by saying when you're thinking about your brand and looking to promote it, one thing I would challenge everyone to do is really think outside of their brand and themselves. It's completely true that you are the expert in your field, but sometimes that can kind of weigh you down, bog you down, and you get a little technical, a little jargony when you're looking to get that message out and to the public. So I would challenge everybody to really think about what you're promoting, who you're talking to, and make sure that the message that you're trying to say is going to be really applicable to your audience. So for those of you looking to promote your business or your product or service, there's likely quite a few different target audiences that you'd want to reach out to. So make sure when you're doing anything publicly speaking, talking to reporters, make sure to tailor what you're saying to the audience that you're going to, and really think about what you're saying or what you can bring to the table is going to be of value to them. And that's really a principle that you can kind of carry throughout your entire promotion strategy, as well as taking it from there and being able to get creative about what you're doing. So sometimes it's being aware of the fact that to promote your brand, you need to bring in some outside resources as well, or experts, work with another brand to amplify that promotion.
That's awesome. All right, we're going to fly from San Francisco now. Thank you, Lauren. All the way over back to Los Angeles. We have Serena from Business Wire, one of my favorite people in the whole world. Hey, Serena, you are just a bundle of joy, and you have a lot of tips. Walk us through your 3 tips on how to get press.
Perfect. Okay, so these are my 3 tips, and a lot of this comes from 20 years in this industry of media relations. The first one is you have to stop thinking text only. A lot of press releases, and when a lot of companies reach out and think about reaching out to media outlets, they write a press release, which is fantastic. We obviously at Business Wire, we love press releases. But the problem is that coverage today, the way reporters work, is they can't work with just text. They need photos and videos. So you really have to think about when you're thinking about press releases or thinking about launching news, you have to think about the assets that you have available. And assets can include screenshots. They don't all have to be sexy, but they need to be relevant to your product.
Mm-hmm.
Secondly, this is really interesting, journalist metrics have really changed in 2014. All journalists are actually paid and measured on shares and views of their story. So what companies need to do today is really take control that once coverage has actually occurred, they need to take control and do all the social sharing of that and drive in traffic for reporters. What will happen is they will bring more reporters in, help the reporters meet their metrics, and that's the beginning of media relations in 2014. And then lastly, once the press release has gone out, or once you've actually done your launch and your release and your news is out there, you really need to stop for a second and look back and look at the data that you got from it. You have to look and see, did you find people talking about your news that you've never identified before? Maybe those are influencers that you can add to a program. Did your landing page break? Did you drive a lot of people into your website but nobody stayed? It's a website issue. So once you've done a press release, you can actually start looking at the action taken on that release and then figure out how to activate or create more actions with your next release.
That's awesome. Thank you, Serena.
Sure.
So we're going from Los Angeles with Serena with Business Wire all the way over to London. We have Mike Porcaro in London, and he's with Intuit, the makers of QuickBooks, a product that I use. Mike, welcome to the video.
Thank you so much for having me. Great to be here.
Well, thank you. And Mike, walk us through your 3 tips and especially how to create a compelling hook.
Sure. First of all, I would just like to say that all the other tips shared here are exactly right. I think all of us could work together really well because they're all exactly the things that I push myself and my team to look for. Making sure that you're keeping it sort of like relevant and newsworthy is so essential, and then of course the data on the back end. But one thing I would add, well, 2 things I'll add. First is, to your point, you got to keep it newsworthy. Find that hook. So you may have an amazing amount of information to share about your product or the service that you deliver, but it may sound just purely promotional or may not actually stick in the reporter's mind if you can't find what I call a hook, right, which is what makes it relevant now. Why are they compelled to write today, this week, next week? And that could be a piece of information that nobody else has. That can be something that's a point of view or an insight nobody else has. It could be a new product offering that's really exciting to the marketplace. But you got to find that hook, what sets it apart and actually kind of lights that fire for the story to get written now.
That's really great. And I got to tell you, Mike, I don't believe that you're in London. You have way too much sunshine behind you. I can't get over that. All right, those of you that are watching this video, I really appreciate you watching the Digital Growth Broadcast here at MediaLeaders.com, where we bring some of the world's best experts together to talk about tactical tips that you can use. You can learn more at MediaLeaders.com. I want to thank all of today's experts that have been on this broadcast. They're from all over the world, literally. We had Triplt from San Francisco, Intuit, the makers of QuickBooks, live from London, Business Wire in Los Angeles, and Sage in Dallas. You guys are great. Thanks for being on this. Those of you that are watching, as always, I want you to remember to keep it light, bright, and polite. Keep doing what you're doing online. You can learn more at MediaLeaders.com. Look forward to seeing you soon.